Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hi friends, welcome to this video column, and today we are going to talk about September 14th and an unsung hero of Jammu Kashmir. The name of this unsung hero is Pandit Tika Lal Taploo. I'm sure very few of us have heard his name, but Pandit Tika Lal Taploo was the first prominent Kashmiri Hindu leader who was killed by terrorists in 1989. He was killed on 14 September 1989, and that is why Kashmiri Hindus and those who support their cause, they commemorate this day or they remember this day as the Martyrdom Day. And every year they observe this day as the Martyrdom Day, that is 14th of September. In fact, the killing of Pandit Tika Lal Taploo was very significant in the Kashmir story, because after his killing, it actually sent shockwave in the Kashmiri Hindu community, who till then had dug its heel and had decided to fight back against terrorism in Kashmir. But his killing actually was a huge blow to the morale of the Kashmiri Hindus, and then within next 4 months, as we know that on January 19th, this exodus of Kashmiri Hindus began. In fact, after the killing of Pandit Tika Lal Taploo, there was a spate of killings of prominent Kashmiri Hindus by terrorists, and this had set the ball rolling. So 14 September 1989, that way is a significant day, because this was the day when the first major killing in Kashmir happened in context of the Kashmiri Hindu leader. In fact, it's ironical that while in India many of us don't even remember this Martyrdom Day in Kashmir, a motion was submitted in the United Kingdom Parliament on 14 September 2020, that is last year, and this was to commemorate the Martyrdom Day of Kashmir. And what did this motion read? I will quote from the motion: that this House commemorates with deep sadness the Martyrdom Day of Kashmiri Hindus on 14 September, those Hindus having lost their lives to cross-border Islamic Jihad who committed atrocities on the population of Jammu and Kashmir. The House expresses its condolences to the families and friends of all those who were killed, raped, and injured in that act of genocide. It also urges the Government of India to legislate a genocide crime punishment law in fulfillment of their international obligations by being a proposer and signatory to the UN Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. So, while this motion, the UK Parliament termed the killing of Kashmiri Hindus as a genocide, so any such law is still to come here. Anyway, that's a separate debate. We're talking about Pandit Taploo. So, I would just give you a brief overview of Pandit Taploo, who was a very low profile leader. He was also the vice president of the Jammu Kashmir unit of Bharatiya Janata Party. He was also associated with Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, but he had a huge following in both Muslims as well as Hindu. In fact, he was popularly addressed as Lala. Lala is a word in Pashto. In Pashto, it means basically elder brother. So he was addressed as Lala by both Muslims and Hindus, and when he was killed, after that, when his funeral happened, thousands of people participated, were there in that funeral to pay their respect, and that constituted both the Hindus and the Muslims. So he was one of those leaders who was equally popular in both Hindus and Muslims, and that is why he was made probably the target also, because he was kind of a wall between the terrorism, the terrorists who were trying to communalize the atmosphere of Kashmir Valley. And so he was a wall between them and the Muslims and Hindus of Kashmir Valley. Taploo, he was a Kashmiri. He passed his matriculation in 1945 from Punjab University. Then he did his masters from Aligarh Muslim University. He also did his LLB from Aligarh Muslim University, and then he started practicing law in Kashmir. And in fact, there is a very interesting incident associated with his early life, that when he and along with some other Kashmiri Hindus went to Aligarh Muslim University to take admission there, so they were initially denied admission. So they started holding a protest dharna at the university campus, and finally the AMU administration had to yield and give them admission, and that's how Not only Pandit Taploo got the admission, along with him, those Kashmiri Hindus who had been denied admission, they were also given admission. So this was his personality right from the beginning, and uh, he had started receiving many threats in 1989. Before that also, and there were so many threats that finally he decided to leave his family in Delhi, and but he did not run away, and he left his family. He took his family to Delhi, and then immediately after that he came back. He came back on September 8, 1989. There was an attack on him at his residence 4 days after that, that is September 12, 1989. But this did not scare him. He, in fact, after that, publicly challenged and dared the terrorists to come and do this kind of act again. And unfortunately, on September 14, 1989, he was shot dead in broad daylight. So this is Pandit Taploo's brief life sketch. I think there's not actually much information available about him, and I think it's important that Pandit Taploo's killing, Pandit has to be kind of remembered, because it's an integral part of the history, and that was the beginning of the exodus of Kashmiri Hindus, and that's why it is celebrated as Martyrdom Day also, not only in memory of only Pandit Taploo, but the Kashmiri Hindus and those who support their cause. They have decided that uh, let us start remembering all those who have laid their lives in this war against terror, and not only in 1980s but right from 1947 onwards, when a lot of Kashmiri Hindus were killed by when there was an invasion from Pakistan. So, but they chose this date as September 14, 1989, because that was the day when the most towering Kashmiri Hindu leader was killed. And that's it from our side, and we'll soon be back with another video on another new subject. Thank you for watching.